this is Muhammad Abdullah, and today we'll be looking at different ways of importing and exporting a module in Node.js. Node.js supported basically common JS modules, and after 8.5.0, it also supported ECMAScript modules. To enable ECMAScript modules, we'll need to we have basically three ways. One way of enabling ECMAScript modules is by renaming the file to .mjs. The second way is passing the key value pair type is equal to module, and the third way is having passing the input type is equal to type in the command line. So these are the three ways by which we will be able to enable ECMAScript modules. So let's see one of the ways. And when once the when we want to import it, we basically have two ways of importing it. One way of importing it is the default way, in which we'll be using the default import. Let's see how let's see how we can export it, and then we will import it into the app.js. So for default import, we'll be having the export keyword followed by default and whatever we are exporting it. Here we are exporting a function welcome. So let's save this file and try to run this. So here it runs successfully. The other way of exporting and importing is by having a named import. So for named import, what we'll be doing it is we'll be passing inside a curly braces. So here we can pass multiple attributes, and while importing we can do the same. We can import it by having curly the import clause inside the curly braces, and we can import it here. So again, if you run, it runs successfully. So one of the problems you might be facing is when we are dealing with JSON files. Unlike common JS module handler, ECMAScript module handler cannot import the .json files. And if you look at the documentation, you'll find the one way of importing it is by using the assert assertion, and we'll find it experimental stability. So by default, they don't advise us to use it into the production. So the common ways of doing it, doing an import of JSON file in ECMAScript modules is basically by using the required function from the common JS module, and we can import the required function from the common JS module inside the ECMAScript module by using the create require function inside the module, and we can pass the current file location by import without method.url, and by using this we get the common JS required function, and we can import it. And if you're going to run this file, you'll find this data.json, whatever data is here, you'll find it here logged. So we have this here. Now the second way of doing is using the file system. Here you can see the difference between this kind of import and here we are not using any relative resolution. Is because here we are importing the Node.js built-in core modules, so we don't have to pass the location of the file. So Node.js will automatically look into it. And here we are using the asynchronous read file function. You can also use a sync file function, synchronous function if you wish. So we are passing the URL. We are basically doing the same thing. We are creating URL and we're asking the function to read the file, and we are passing it, and we are going to access the data of the type which we want is donut. So if we're going to save the file and run, I think let's move this. If we're going to save the file and run, you'll find donut. And so these are the two ways by which we'll be able to import the JSON file. So let me revise again. First one is using the common.js required function, and the second one is using the inbuilt file function. There may be another other ways, but these are the common ways. And you don't have to worry about this when we are using common.js modules. So this was the ECMAScript module handler. What about the common.js module handler? We can we can either rename the file of as .cjs, or we can leave it as default.js if you're going to use the common.js module handler.